He'll fling it. Oh! That's going to count!
You know, I wasn't expecting him to have the success that he had, but it was a very nice surprise.
Connor's been paying attention, watching film, talking to guys.
Anybody inquire about that number 2 pick?
We need contributions from other people.
Who else has got to step up?
Sometimes you do some things to change some things up to get to a different spark.
Who do you think is the number 1 player?
What's going on? Welcome to your one-stop shop to hear from every MLL coach each week. This is MLL Press Pass, and I've got some help back with me this week. Brendan Glasheen, Travis Eldridge with you here on this Wednesday.
Yeah, busy week 8 in Major League Lacrosse. Everybody in action over the course of 5 games. As always, we start with the Atlanta Blaze. Coach Liam Banks joining us now here inside the LSN Broadcast Center. Liam, how's it going? Thanks for the time as always.
Going great. Another gorgeous day down here in the South.
All right, we got the Syracuse Mafia here.
Yeah, we've got a trio of Syracuse people here. Look out. Orange Country
315
is rolling strong here. Why don't we start off? The tough one for you guys against Charlotte this past weekend. That 6-0 run seemed to be a tough one to take in that second quarter. We hear it all the time that the MLL is a league of runs. That's just how these games go. But how difficult is it to take that run, try to find a way to end it for Charlotte, and then respond with one of your own?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you look at the game, we didn't do a good job of finishing the ball in numbers. And Charlotte's a great team, and they capitalized on that when we didn't do that. I thought 6-on-6, we were actually pretty strong. But when you don't finish the ball in numbers going one way, and then they come back and score, it's pretty deflating. And I think that happened a bit during the 6-0 run. I think it happened in the first quarter. I think it's happened in a couple games that we played this year. So we're going to address that this week. Make sure we're getting back in the hole, but more importantly, put the ball in the back of the goal when it's your job to do so.
Obviously, he wasn't in the lineup for you guys this weekend because the trade happened just there on Saturday, but you add in Sergio Salcido in the midfield. Along with the rookies that you drafted, you've got a bunch of new midfield pieces to deal with. How do you envision Sergio filling in that midfield unit?
Yeah, I mean, we had an opportunity to pick up Sergio, and his first-round pick last year. We were able to swap out a 5th-round pick next year to get him, and we thought that it's really good value for us in our organization. Sergio's a pro. He's a really smart player. Can break down a defense. Kind of split them, draw the slide. Can shoot it from outside with both hands, but also sees the field really well. I think Kevin Rice is going to be a really good influence on him in terms of helping him manage the game and make smart decisions. But anytime you can get a guy who is, how many goals he put up in Syracuse his senior year, I think it's about 40 goals or something along those lines. Anytime you get a scorer, assist guy like Sergio and the value that we got to trade for him, we had to take advantage of that opportunity, and looking forward to seeing what he can do this weekend at practice.
Yeah, sure. It should be a good midfield addition for you guys. Want to go back to that 6-0 run you mentioned by Charlotte in that game over the weekend. Michael Earhart, how could you not have noticed what he did offensively, never mind his defensive presence for the Charlotte Hounds? What did he do so well to be the motor on Charlotte's side, and what was so difficult in stopping him?
He's all over our scouting report. We understand who he is. He's one of the best defensemen LSM in the world. He can shoot. He's an offensive threat and also plays great defense. But again, if you look at that tape pretty closely, we come down one way in a fast break, don't finish the ball, and then suddenly he's getting numbers. Maybe getting out on hands a little bit better, but we had scouted that, and at times we had mental lapses during the games, normally coming off a turnover. And in that time, a team like Charlotte's going to kill you. They're one of the best teams in the league, and that's what this league is. It's about limiting your mistakes in between the lines. It's about finishing the ball, and it's about limiting them to have fast breaks. And we just didn't execute on those 3 phases of the game, and things for us to improve on, and looking forward to kind of trying to improve on them this weekend when we go up to Chesapeake.
Coach, we've seen Matt Madelon pretty much take over this starting role. Chris Madelon take over this starting role for you guys over the last several weeks. You also brought in a rookie goalie in Brock Turnbull over this past week. How do you envision things working out in that goalie position at the moment?
Yeah, I think that it's going to be an open competition all year. I want all players to be hungry on this team, and that's not even for our goalies. That's our defensemen. That's our midfielders, and that's our attackmen. So, we brought in Brock. We'll see kind of where he's at with his game. We're always, when you have talented players in the pool, Spencer Ford does a great job of giving us the opportunity to look at those players. But, it wasn't Chris Madelon that lost us a game last week. I'd be very clear about that. He had 22 saves. He played great. Charlotte's goalkeeper played excellent as well. I think he had 17 saves for SIP. So Chris has done a really good job, and he's taken advantage of his opportunity. But we're going to continue to challenge all our goalies that we have on our roster to play the best of their ability.
And we want to hit on the specialist at the faceoff X and Joe Nardella. Another good outing for him in his second game in a Blaze uniform. 19 wins out of 35 attempts. He scored a goal, 7 GBs. I mean, you said last week on Press Pass that he's just the ultimate pro. And off of this point, he's an all-star. How proud of you are of your all-stars and Joe Nardella to be a member of this team? And how do you think he looked in Game 2 as opposed to Game 1?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, first of all, congratulations to all of our all-stars, with Scott Ratliff's a no-brainer for us. Joey Nardella has been excellent for us and was for the Cannons beforehand. He's quite a cog in the engine that we have moving forward. Love the way he hustles, love the way he grinds. He stops runs for the most part when we need it and gets some big goals for us. But we're happy to have him representing the Atlanta Blaze at the All-Star game along with Scott Ratliff and Kevin Rice. And of course, having one of our rookies in the game this year is going to be a good thing for lacrosse as well. And I think Connor Kelly would be representing Team USA along with Liam Burns as alternates there. So there's a lot of Blaze players that are involved in this All-Star week, and it shows that they've worked hard this season and they deserve some recognition for what they've done.
Just bring the whole Blaze team. It'll be fun. It'll be a big block party up here in Boston. Finally, Coach, in honor of IHOP changing its name here, very controversial.
What is going on?
I have no idea. The world is being flipped upside down.
P's and B's being swapped.
If you are hungry for something, say at the end of the night, what are you craving, pancakes or burgers?
Oh, I'm certainly craving a burger at the end of the night, not pancakes. I did have pancakes for lunch yesterday, actually, up at the Marietta Diner here before our LB3 practice. But no, I want a nice greasy burger before I go to sleep, something heavy to put me down, and that's what's going to do it for me. I may follow it up with a candy bar. I do have quite a sweet tooth myself, maybe a sweet tea or Red Bull before I go to sleep, but no pancakes for me.
See, there he goes. He gets the local diner in there as well.
Yeah.
Just slide it in there.
I was just gonna say the best pancakes I might have ever had was Stella's Diner in Syracuse, New York. I don't know about you two.
Good spot. You got to go to the Mother's Cupboard.
Mother's Cupboard, that's right. You know.
Yeah, see, the real professionals here knowing what's up in Syracuse. Liam, appreciate the time. Good luck this weekend.
All right, thanks so much, guys. Have a good week.
Coming up here on Press Pass, Trevor Baptiste won more than 60% of his faceoffs this past weekend, but the Cannons couldn't take advantage in Dallas. We'll hear from head coach Sean Quirk.
Plus, we'll hang with the Hound Legion. How Ryan Brown went off to keep Charlotte at the top of the MLL standings.
Sometimes you do some things to change some things up to get a different spark.
He kind of has been paying attention, watching film, talking to guys.
Turi, long shot from Perkovic, and Boston scores again, 6-4.
The Motor City Hitman does it for the Cannons. That was his nickname at Notre Dame, the native of Bloomfield, Michigan.
Sergio Perkovic was good for Boston, just not enough to stop this red-hot Rattlers team last Thursday. Cannons coach Sean Quirk joining us now on the phone. Coach, you haven't gotten the consistency out of Sergio over the course of this season. Really good game for you last Thursday. How do you get him to be a little bit more consistent of a contributor for you?
Yeah, we thought he played well, against Dallas, and a few games ago against Atlanta, he had a big game. I think he, had 4 goals and, 1 or 2 here and there, but he's finding his groove. And, I think the midfield group in particular is, they're starting to play a little bit better together now that we've kind of kept that group together throughout the season, and that attack unit's starting to formulate itself a bit. We didn't have Pinnell there. So it's really putting Sergio in the position where he's most successful. And, he's an outside shooter, but he's really starting to get to the cage as well and draw that 2 slide. And, distribute the ball. So he is playing well, and we look forward to him seeing what he can do next.
You know, one of the keys for you, Sean, throughout the course of this early part of the season, now midway through the season, getting off to better starts. And you were hanging in there in that first quarter with Dallas on Thursday night and into the halftime session. It was only just a 4-goal game. How did things unravel in the second half, being outscored 12-5? What were the Rattlers just doing so well, or what did your team fail to do?
Yeah, you know, it's a great question. I give a lot of credit to Dallas. They really played a complete game. They didn't have too many lulls. You know, it was close at halftime, as you mentioned, and we were playing really good offense and pretty well on defense. We didn't have a 2-slide there in some cases, and we're giving up some inside shots to our goalies, which made it tough for them. And then even in the third quarter, we made that run a little bit of, you know, scoring 3 or 4 goals to make it closer. And then again, Dallas just kept punching away and, you know, opened it up a bit on us. And, you know, I give them a lot of credit for staying consistent when we certainly had lulls. And in this league, as everyone knows, there's going to be runs and everything else, but we just had too many lulls throughout that game on both sides of the ball, turning it over on offense and, you know, on defense, giving them some opportunities that we didn't want to give them.
Coach, if there's one really big bright spot to take away is Trevor Baptiste at the faceoff X. He wins 62% here on Thursday. What kind of adjustments or what did you talk to him about in between game 1 and game 2 of his MLL career?
Yeah, you know, I might have mentioned it after our Florida game. You know, he was being his first game, you know, he thought he did well, but his expectations of himself as a face-off guy and a player are so high. And he really is a student of the game, wants to keep getting better. And going into this second game, you know, we felt that he was more comfortable out there, kind of knew how to play a little bit more with the shot clock and, you know, even wing play and the aggressiveness on the face-offs with that whole unit. So he was definitely more comfortable. And throughout the game, you know, against Drew Simino, who's an excellent face-off guy, and he had a strong game against us as well. You know, Trevor just kept battling, and I think we'll continue to see that marked improvement and just continuing to get better week by week out of him.
Just along those lines with that unit, what type of adjustments do you have to make after you watch what Simino was able to do on some of those faceoffs he won, able to score 3 goals against you in transition?
Yeah, I think using our, you know, wing play a little bit better to get in there, you know, certainly on those 50-50 ground balls, we did that a better job this week against Dallas than we did the previous week, but limiting that transition right off the you know, fast break. Or face-off rather, you know, with fast breaks, which Drew did well. It's just, you know, maintaining some of that wing play, but then also our close defense, obviously managing that a little bit better, when to slide to that face-off guy and, you know, stay on those attackmen. So that's something, you know, that we're certainly talking through and we'll work through with that whole face-off unit and our defensive unit.
John, quickly, we want to hit on Zed Williams, 3 goals, 1 assist in that Dallas game. Now 3 games with the Cannons, 7 goals, 3 assists. He and Will Sands seem to be trading off the quarterbacking duties of your offense. What has Zed added to your team, and what's made him so good over these first couple of games in uniform?
Yeah, Zed's been terrific for us. You know, he's such a pleasure to have in the locker room, and then on the field, guys. He just loves to play the game. He's very creative. I think he plays well within the system that we're running, and guys are getting him the ball at the right times. You know, he's a great finisher inside, which he had against Dallas and even the previous games. So we've kind of shifted him back and forth, you know, as you know, from midfield to attack, depending on where we need him. We didn't have James Pennell against Dallas, so he filled in a little bit more there, and we ran Scotty Bita out of the box and changed that look up a little bit. So he's a versatile player, but really a pleasure to have here. I know the guys on the team and the coaching staff's really enjoying him.
Quickly, before we let you go, any idea when Kyle Jackson may join you guys now that his indoor commitments are done?
Yeah, spoke to Kyle actually last night, and he's ready to go. You know, he's such a competitor. It was the same thing last year. We spoke, you know, a few days after his NLL season ended, and he's like, Coach, I'm ready to go. So we anticipate getting him going, you know, right away with us and getting him integrated into the team and that sort of thing. So he should be with us next week.
Oh, good timing, especially with the bye week coming up, Coach. Next game is June 23rd. Before we let you go, this whole IHOP debacle, the IHOB versus IHOP discussion, we must ask you, well, what do you prefer, pancakes or burgers?
I'm going pancakes, guys.
Oh!
Big fan of pancakes and
During the break,
IHOP,
Travis
so.
wasn't feeling the pancakes would be on the coach's side today. Now we got a 1-1 tie here in the early stages of the show.
We do. All right. Coach Quirk, a pancake guy. Appreciate the time, Coach. Enjoy the bye week. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, gentlemen. Have a good week.
Up next, let's chop it up with Charlotte. Any chance Connor Fields plays for the Hounds this season, even with that knee injury? We'll ask Coach Stagnita.
Plus, burning it up for the Bayhawks, we'll talk to Coach Dave Connell about how Josh Byrne and a rookie propelled them to another win.
Sometimes you do some things to change some things up to get a different spark.
All right, Week 9 gets started here on Saturday on LSN. Charlotte looking to hold on to at least a share of first place in the league, traveling to Long Island to face the Lizards. Game time set 7 p.m. Eastern. Our MLL pregame coverage starts 6:30 Eastern only on LAC Sports Network.
30 seconds left in the first. 24 to shoot. Ryan Brown with the slick release to give the Hounds a 4-3 lead. Hey, Chris, they scored.
That's what they're looking to do.
And that was the sharpshooter lining it up for another Hounds win on Saturday, Ryan Brown. We've got his head coach of the Charlotte Hounds joining us now, Jim Stagnita. Coach, thanks as always for the time. Nice win for you guys to bounce back after a loss last time out. Just your feelings on how things went down in Atlanta.
Well, first, I don't get to hear much of that color. I usually look at the clips, but that was pretty profound by Chris, saying that's what we want to do is get Ryan Brown to shoot with his hand free.
Best analyst in the business.
It's unbelievable. You know, we went on the road, and you know, it's always, number one, it's tough to win in this league as it is, but you know, to go on the road and to go into a place where you know, Atlanta is playing well. They lost a couple tight games, and they had a lot on the line, and you know, we came out of there with a win. I thought it was one of the more complete games we played from top to bottom. You know, we were pretty consistent throughout, and you know, honestly, I think we had a little bit of a lull in the third quarter, but during that lull in the third quarter, we hit 3 pipes on 3 pretty good looks. So you know, overall, I was pretty pleased with how we played, and certainly coming away with a win and the consistency that we played with.
Coach, we've got to mention what Michael Earhart did. I know we talked about him after that game, or you did on the broadcast, but we found out he was sick as a dog all week, and he goes out there, and I mean, for me, he was my offensive player of the week in Major League Lacrosse because nobody for his position did more offensively than he did. 3 goals, including a 2-pointer, also added an assist. I mean, what does he mean to what you're able to do on both ends of the field?
Well, he's, as I said, guys, before we got on air, he's, in my mind, he is one of the most underrated stars, you know, in this league, because he truly is a star. He can do so much for us, and this is what gives us, you know, some opportunity as a team, is guys like Mike, because he could do multiple things. When you're dressing 19 guys, and a guy can play wing on faceoffs, he's actually taken faceoffs for us this year. He can. You know, he can pick up ground balls all over the place, and he truly, as a midfielder, as a pole, can defend the best middies in the league and really kind of neutralize them. And then the fact that he can take the ball from one end of the field to the other, or he can follow up in an unsettled situation as a trailer, and he's so dangerous that you have to cover him and you have to pay attention to him. You know, that's what helps Ryan Brown in a lot of those unsettled situations. You can't just suck in and not play Michael Earhart, because he's going to make you pay for it if you don't. And that opens things up for everyone else. And, you watch him, and then you watch what Joe McCallion does for us. He comes in and takes some key face-offs and picks up some big ground balls and scores a big goal. We got guys just, doing a lot of things for us and playing a lot of different roles. And, as long as we can continue to do that and our guys are buying into their roles and they stay unselfish, which I have no, there's no question in my mind that that's the case, because that's the kind of guys we have. We're going to, we'll continue to compete every Saturday.
Certainly a goal that comes to mind is when Ryan Brown got a dish from Earhart, missed the shot, and then Earhart was right there on the doorstep to put it home. So nice game for Ryan Brown, the 5 goals. We talked about Earhart there a second ago. I want to hit on the faceoffs. Noah Rack gets his second real shot as far as getting first starter reps in that game the other night. Any anticipation on when Jake Withers will be activated for this game for your team?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, sooner than later, but just like any other time we transition these guys through, we got to, we want to make sure that they're ready to play, that they're healthy, that they get a little bit of time off. He's been playing, all the way through, since November. And, we're just kind of talking to him about, what his timetable is, how much time he needs. And he does need to recover a little bit from the indoor league. He played his last game on Saturday night. So, our hope was that, we knew what we were getting into when we grabbed him. And our hope was that, for this stretch run, he would be there and he would be able to help us. I believe he will be. When exactly that's going to be, not sure yet.
The other person people are interested in is Connor Fields. Obviously, he has the knee injury. I believe he's going to have surgery at some point. Any conversations about him possibly joining you to play on what knee he has left at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, certainly I converse about it all the time. He's a great player, and as a coach, I'd like to have him there. Some of these decisions, are being made at a pay grade higher than mine. My input, and I think our approach as an organization hasn't changed. If he's healthy and it's safe for him to play and everybody's comfortable with it, he's going to be in the lineup. Can that happen? Yes. Will it happen? I can't guarantee it. Again, in some cases, a Connor Fields at 75% is better than a whole hell of a lot of people out there. But at the same time, again, our concern first and foremost is to make sure that this is a long-term investment for us and we're protecting it, and it's in the best interest of Connor, not just us right now.
Coach Daggs, our question for all the coaches this week with the IHOP story breaking out earlier in the week with the IHOP and IHOB. Coach, which one do you lean towards, burgers or pancakes?
Did you guys see me on the sideline? I mean, I'm still I'm keeping this boyish figure. So I probably, if I had a choice, I'd have to go with a burger without the bun. How's that? Kind of
wow.
That's
healthy.
my direction, yeah. Yeah.
And he probably cuts it all up and everything, nice small bites.
Look, hey.
No, I don't do that.
Got to keep the carbs away.
I just put the fork right in the middle of it and
Nice.
eat around the fork.
Nice. Good eating, Coach.
Coach Jim Stagnita, the healthy version of the pancake burger debate. Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Coming up, the Bayhawks made it a sweep of Ohio despite a lengthy weather delay. How Coach Cottle and company stayed focused during that 2-hour and 45-minute stoppage.
Grueling. Plus, All-Star Ben Reeves set to make his MLL debut on Sunday. What are the expectations for the Tewaaraton winner? We'll talk with the Rattlers head coach, Bill Warder, next.
Sometimes you do some things to change some things up to get a different spark.
Connor's been paying attention, watching film, talking to guys.
I hurt his knee, can't play now, but guys, gutter ding. I just think it was a good draft grade.
And there's another goal for Josh Byrne as he was able to get out in front of Kyle Bernlohr and score.
The Bayhawks burning up so far. Welcome back here to Press Pass. Travis Eldridge, Brendan Glasheen back with you. We've got Coach Dave Cottle from Chesapeake with us now. Coach, the most impressive part about how you guys came back there in the second half is it's coming off that 2-hour and 45-minute delay. What on earth do you do with 3 hours in between the game?
I think we had a dance party. I heard every rap song ever made for almost 3 hours. And then I think they played floor hockey. So we were a bunch of children in that locker room for 3 hours.
Floor hockey. At least it wasn't Fortnite or something, right?
There was probably some Fortnite going on. We've got Miles Jones involved.
Oh, man.
Coach, just along those lines, I mean, Ian McKay and Josh Byrne both came up big for you in the end of that third quarter and then into the fourth. How impressive were both of those guys down the stretch for you guys offensively?
Well, you're 100% correct on that. I think at 10-9, Ian scored the tying goal. Then he scored the go-ahead goal. Then Josh scored. Then Ian scored. Those guys were the difference in the fourth quarter. We felt like Josh was sitting on a good game. And he hadn't played that well the previous 2 games, and so I thought he really came on when we need him. And Ian McKay has been a pleasant surprise, and he had 3 in the second game. He had 4 in this game, and one of the 3 was a 2. So, he's really been a smart player and a tough player.
Coach, how does Miles Jones approach the game, knowing he's going to draw so much attention? He only had 1 goal, but off of Travis's point there a moment ago, that opens things up for Ian McKay and Josh Byrne to shine. Miles Jones probably understands that, but tell us from your vantage point on the sideline, how does he go about breaking down the game as it goes along?
Well, I think Miles is a really smart player. He understands how they're defending him. He understands how they're sliding to him. And I thought that was probably the best game Miles has played in the pro league, that he didn't have a lot of points. And his value, he drew fouls. He shared the ball. He got second assist, and when we needed a big goal number 14, he scored it. I think Miles Jones has been – I wouldn't trade him for any minute in the league right now, and I don't think he gets the credit because he has been an outstanding player this year.
Another guy that was good for you in goal was Nico Amato, and it seems like he's strung a couple of these games together. He's been able to make a bunch of saves. Do you credit your defense giving him shots that he's able to make saves for? Is he doing something different? What have you seen from your goalie?
I think Nico just needed experience. The more he plays, the better he's going to be. He's a highly competitive kid. He made some tough inside saves. In fact, I think it's quite the opposite. I think we played defense with our goalie for a period of time there in the first half. But he keeps battling. He's a competitive kid, and he's a battler. We're very fortunate we have 2 goalies that we have a lot of confidence in.
And then, I mean, he helps you sweep Ohio, and that has got to, I mean, despite Ohio's struggles at this point in the season, that's got to feel really good at this point of the year, knowing you've swept the defending champs.
Well, it does. When you looked at before the season, you figure you'd like to get one of the 2. And to get both of them and to be 4-1, quite honestly, on the road after 5 games, if we can take care of our home field, we have a chance to have a very special season.
Coach, tell us about the consistency you're getting out of Stephen Kelly at the faceoff X. Another tremendous game for him, 16 of 29, 11 ground balls, multiple possessions. You talked about Miles, and we talked about McKay so far, and Josh Byrne. Stephen Kelly's giving you those possessions. What has made him so good at the X thus far?
I think Stephen, he can win some faceoffs himself, but if the other guy wins it, he's had the ability to get the ball back. Our wing play's been very good. But Stephen is highly competitive. He's a great teammate. And quite honestly, early in the year, we weren't playing that well on offense, and we won games because Stephen kept giving us the ball. And so hopefully our offense is getting better so we don't have to rely as much on Stephen, but he gives us, we're winning 57% of the faceoffs when he faces off. And sometimes we get him back even when he loses. So if you get one of those back every 10, you go from a 57% faceoff team to maybe a 65% faceoff.
Sure.
Coach, this is a team that hasn't been to the playoffs in a number of years, and you've got a bunch of guys who haven't experienced that yet, this type of success. You guys are on a little bit of a roll here. What do you tell your team at this point of the year, knowing you've got some important games coming up here in the next couple of weeks that can maybe decide whether you're in that first 4 or on the outside looking in again?
No, you're 100% correct on that. The good news for us is we've had a bunch of guys that have won indoor championships. We've had guys that have won college championships. They may not have won an MLL championship, but they've won a lot of championships along the way. So I'm not concerned about our championship pedigree as much as I'm concerned about our effort, and I'm not concerned about the playoffs as much as I am the next game.
Plenty of pedigree for sure, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to get you out on this. I'm sure you've heard from your teammates. I know you were blasting rap music the other night in the locker room, but maybe you came across the news earlier in the week about IHOP changing its name to IHOB, making burgers part of their selling point now, their marketing strategy. If you had to go pancakes or burgers, which one you leaning towards?
Well, I eat a heck of a lot more burgers than I do pancakes, but I do like a good blueberry pancake.
Blueberry pancake. All right.
Where do you go to get it?
Superfood.
IHOP? Is IHOP your spot, or where else do you go?
I have a rotation. I change as the days go on.
Nice.
I don't change orders. I change restaurants.
Oh, there you go.
Options are
See?
good, Coach. Options are good.
Got plenty of options there in the Annapolis area. Some good ones. Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck here this weekend.
Thanks for supporting our league. I appreciate it.
All right. You can see the Bayhawks in action here on Saturday, hosting the Atlanta Blaze. Face-off set for 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, where Coach just was, Annapolis, Maryland. Our pregame coverage starts at 6:30 right here on LAC Sports Network.
Speaking of red-hot teams, the Rattlers have slithered their way to the top of the standings, in part thanks to Ty Thompson's terrific play. We'll hear from head coach Bill Warder coming up.
Plus, we'll ask Outlaws coach B.J. O'Hara about the brick wall he has standing in the cage. That's later on.
Sometimes you do some things to change some things up to get a different spark.
Big one coming your way Sunday to wrap up Week 9 in Major League Lacrosse. The Machine hitting the road again to visit the Star. A return where they won last year's MLL Championship. Face-off between the Rattlers and Machine. Set for 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. MLL pregame starts 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central, only here on LAC Sports Network.
Ty Thompson, we haven't said his name too often here today. He's on the field right now, cutting to the goal, and here's Thompson on cue, and he scores for Dallas.
He heard you call him out and said, I'm scoring for Freed.
Thompson gets his 21st to take the team lead.
5 G's for Ty Thompson in that victory for the Dallas Rattlers over the Boston Cannons. An 11-goal win, 22-11. It was never really close. A great start to the game for Dallas, and then they rode momentum in the second half, a 12-5 run. We've got the head coach, Bill Warder, joining us now. Coach, I want to get this out of the way because I look at a guy like Ty Thompson. How is he not an all-star?
I mean, I think there's I get one vote. So I voted Ty as the top attackman in the league. I mean, that's how we feel about him in Dallas, and he's obviously a phenomenal player, a guy that we count on a ton. And but I mean, it's something we talk about quite a bit. Not just it's not about a player, it's about the team. And I know all the guys in Dallas. We the individual accolades are great, but at the end of it, our goal is to hoist that cup, and that's where we're focused on. So, but I get one vote. So. And that's how I voted.
Coach Warder going Ty Thompson. No surprise there. When you talk about him as just a pure finisher, how impressive has it been to watch him, especially this season, because it seems like he's just found this rhythm?
There's probably like 5 goals this year where I've had to go back on like the next couple days after the game, like how did that go in? Like where did he think he was shooting when he scored that? So. It's there's usually 1 or 2 goals a game where he finds if there's an inch, he squeezes it into an half inch. He's just such a pure like pinpoint shooter, and he's very creative, and he's just one of those guys. He's an easy target because he's just just throw it in at him and something good's usually going to happen. And he's just really fun to coach, and awesome guy, and having a I think some people say, hey, he's having a good season. I mean, if you look back, I mean, he's probably close to 65 or so goals in his career. I mean, he's only a couple years in. I mean, the rate at which he scores and the amount of games he plays in is really high. So, I mean, he's averaging, probably 2-3 goals a game in his career.
Coach, I want to talk your offense just overall the last couple of weeks. 19 2 weeks ago. Last Thursday, you go for 22 like we just spoke on. What to you has stood out the most about the offense, and what's the biggest ingredient? What's been the biggest key to everything clicking these last couple of games?
It's this defense, our defense starts the offense, and it's something that that's a philosophy that we've always talked about. Is in order to score 15, 16, 17 goals, you have to stop the other team because you got to get possessions because there's only so many possessions in a game, and so you got to make some stops. And we're really fortunate that Galloway and Joel White and the defense and I'd be a mistake to not mention, Drew Simino has gotten the ball to us a ton of times. And so, the defense and Galloway making the stops creates transition, and we're an opportunistic team. And so those, looking through if you're an analytics guy, and, we look at the data on this and we look at the analytics, and I mean, the uptick in our goals is a direct correlation of just the amount of touches we're getting because of the stops we're getting. And, that's, I mean, it's simple mathematics. Kind of, the more times you're going to touch the ball, the more goals you're going to score. So it's, our defense has created the offense. So it's, I wish I could say it's, offensive, wizardry, but it's really John Galloway and making really good. We've cleared at an exceptionally high rate, so we haven't, we haven't given the ball away in transition, and we've converted every clear pretty much, for the last couple weeks.
Well, you certainly made it look easy, especially there on Thursday, hanging 22 goals on the Cannons. We talked about this the last couple weeks. Offensively, when you're hanging 19, 20 goals a game, it's tough to make changes, but you have the Tewaaraton winner in Ben Reeves at your disposal. Any idea when you may try to work him into the lineup?
Well, I mean, the offense, you're always trying to figure out the right matchups and the right combination. I mean, another guy we've only played one time this year, Randy Stotts, he played in one game. He had three, I think he was 3-2 that game. And so, Randy hasn't played in 2 weeks. And so, we got a couple guys who haven't dressed, in the roles that they should dress in yet. And so it's, it's exciting, but it's also, you're nervous because how the pieces all fit together. And, I think that's exciting. Ben's obviously a guy that there's a reason. Again, there's a reason we drafted up or traded up to get him in the draft. We felt that he could add something. We felt he could add a dimension to our offense. He's something someone else has a game plan against, just like Randy Stotts, just like Ty Thompson and Jordan Wolf and Ryan Cormody and John Randigan. And Randigan's been playing great. So the more pieces you have that teams have to game plan against, where they can't just sit there and focus on just Jordan or just Ned Crotty, makes us much more dangerous. And, we talk about just sharing the ball. And, Ben's a really smart lacrosse player, very, very smart, high lacrosse IQ. He'll figure it out. And I'm sure he's going to be, a good addition to us.
So getting him in soon, is that what you're going with?
Yeah, sooner than later.
All right.
I think it's, that's we just got to see how the pieces fall together, and it's I mean, obviously we drafted him, we think highly of him, and expect to see him here sometime this summer. How about that?
All right, well, there you go. You gave us something. Coach, you guys can play on Father's Day here on Sunday. What are your plans? I know you'll be on the road, but what are your plans with your son to celebrate Father's Day?
Yeah, well, I have. I'm pretty fortunate. I don't have one son. I have 4 sons, actually. So
4.
It's,
sons.
It's good. Yeah, sons. So they're. It's they love the Rattler guys, and they love being around the team, and it's really, honestly, it's you guys see the on-field product, but what you don't see is how the MLL players, and I can speak specifically to Jordan Wolf and John Galloway and Joel White, and you go down the list of guys on this team that have treated all my kids and all Coach Monty's kids and Tim Sudan's son like their own children. I mean, they're amazing mentors and just good people, and it's great to have your kids around those guys, and they're very generous at the time, and it's awesome to see them, and that's what lacrosse is about. I think it's something that it brings communities together, and it's good, and that's what this game's about, is promoting the game and promoting family, and to me, having a good time is winning. So hopefully on Father's Day we're going to get a win.
Oh, a nice way to cap off Father's Day would be to certainly get a win against the Ohio Machine, a team that beat you guys a couple weeks ago at home. As Travis mentioned, Ohio, the last time they were there, celebration mode for them. Coach, let's take you out on this, and maybe your sons will take you out to IHOP or IHOB, whatever they're going to call it, for breakfast or for lunch, because now burgers have been their theme. The marketing campaign this week naming themselves IHOB. Which one do you like more, burgers or pancakes?
Well, I think we're a pancake and waffle. Superhero waffles and pancakes is the key in our house.
All right, so there you go. We got another vote for pancakes. I did not see this coming, but the pancakes are starting to take over. Coach Bill Warder, enjoy Father's Day. Good luck this weekend. Thanks as always for the time.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks.
The Rattlers weren't the only team with a big win on Thursday. The Outlaws also lit it up in Denver. We'll visit with Coach B.J. O'Hara next.
And Dylan Malloy helped the Launch get a much-needed win. How important was it? Well, we'll talk with Tom Mariano.
Sometimes you do some things to change some things up to get a different spark.
He kind of has been paying attention, watching film, talking to guys.
Man, was Jack Kelly good in goal for Denver this past Thursday. Ended up making 13 saves on 17 shots on goal. A huge performance from the defending goalie of the year.
All right, and we have B.J. O'Hara joining us now, Denver Outlaws head coach, coming off that nice win, 17-6 over Ohio. That got the whole Week 8 started last Thursday afternoon. Coach, thanks for the time. Let's start Jack Kelly. Pretty stout in cage. You didn't even need him for the fourth quarter. That's how in hand the game was. From top to bottom, it seemed your team was ready to play from the get-go.
Yeah, we had a beautiful day and a nice crowd, and the guys came out with a lot of energy, and we got on them pretty early and never looked back. So it's the kind of day you wish you had more often.
Coach, we mentioned Jack Kelly, and you said afterward this was like rookie year Jack Kelly, the one we saw come into the league and really take the league by storm, ending up winning Rookie of the Year. How special was that game you saw on Thursday?
He's performed well for us all year, but this was an exceptional performance by him, and really gave us a lift. And he was seeing some pretty good shots too by some awfully good players, and came up big for us. And I think he inspired the defense to play even harder, and it gave us some distance on the scoreboard.
Offensively, your guys showed up a 7-1 lead to assist Jack in that first quarter. You had multi-goal performances out of Law, Snyder, Currier, Schlosser, Kavanaugh, Balestri. Multiple efforts offensively. The unselfishness was evident, and you guys are starting to gain some consistency on the offensive side. What was standing out to you the most from your offensive standpoint the other day?
Well, I think you hit it right on the head. The unselfishness. We were making that extra pass, and that's often our mantra on offense is looking for assisted goals, and we were getting scoring from a number of different guys. We've had a more consistent lineup the last couple of weeks, and I think that's really shown in how the offense has started to gel.
One person that's been consistently in the lineup for you that will no longer be is Thomas Kelly, as you made that trade with New York to send the faceoff guy to the Lizards. What went into that decision to trade him to New York?
Well, they've been knocking on our door for probably since preseason. Tommy was a big part of 2 championship teams. Obviously, you hate to lose his talent, but more importantly, you hate to lose that kind of character and personality in the dressing room. But when you got an opportunity to get a first-round collegiate draft pick, you got to listen and pay attention. Max Adler performed very well for us in 2 contests, and it gave us a little bit of flexibility. So we did what we thought was in the best interest of our future, and we made the trade. It wasn't an easy one, though, I got to tell you.
Yeah, for sure. And he went out and played pretty well for the Lizards that weekend, too. So he bounced back well himself personally. You guys lose that game a couple weeks ago to Chesapeake in a shootout, 24-22. You've won 3 straight since, even though that game was a loss, do you feel like it propelled your team because it was such a competitive fight?
Yeah, we played very well offensively in that game. Obviously, defensively, we gave up a lot, particularly the 2-point shots. We actually outscored them in goals in that game, but came up short because they hit 4 twos on us. So that's something that we've been much more cognizant of lately, trying to defend those twos, and hopefully we can continue to do that kind of job.
You mentioned Max Adler when we were talking about the trade for Thomas Kelly. What kind of confidence do you have in him? And for the people that certainly don't, he's not a well-recognized name around the league at the face-off position yet. For the people that don't know him, what can we expect from him now getting a more consistent opportunity here in your lineup?
Well, like I said, when we did get him in there, he was very strong. He's a hard worker, tireless worker. He can handle the ball in traffic, which is awfully important. He's just that, he's gonna do fine for us. We also added another face-off guy from Marquette University who had a great collegiate career, and his name escapes me right now, but we just picked him up the other day. So we do have some depth there that. So we feel good about where we are at that position.
Yeah, adding Zach Melillo, obviously, there as well.
Right, there you go. Yeah, thank you.
For the Owls. I know you got a lot of names to keep a hold of. We'll let that one slide, Coach. Before we let you go, I don't know if you know about the IHOP name change, but they've now gone to IHOB, the International House of Burgers. So we're asking coaches, pancakes or burgers, which would you prefer?
Oh, burgers all day long.
See?
I'm not much of a breakfast guy.
We're back on track with
Never been a breakfast guy? Okay. Well, hey, Coach, good luck against Florida this weekend. They are your next test, and they got you guys back a couple weeks ago. So good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, Coach. A hot start for the Launch helped them snap their 4-game losing streak. How did they get it done? We'll ask Coach Tom Mariano coming up next.
And what did Coach Joe Spallina tell Paul Rabel after he broke the MLL's all-time points record? Well, we'll visit with the Lizards head coach coming up on MLL Press Pass.
Sometimes you do some things to change some things up to get a different spark.
Some late-night lacrosse for you on Saturday night here on LSN, 9:30 Eastern, 7:30 Mountain Time. The Launch head west to visit the Denver Outlaws, a game you will see right here on Lac Sports Network. Tune in.
For McCardle. Dangerous attack, and Malloy launches one through. Top shelf. Florida cracks the game open.
McCardle launches one.
Yeah, but it was a big game for Dylan Malloy in that big win for the Launch. We've got Florida coach Tom Mariano with us now. Coach, it seemed as though Dylan Malloy was able to use that body of his and really body some guys down like we saw him do in college. What did you see from the former Tewaaraton Award winner for you on Saturday night?
I mean, I think that he was Saturday what he's been all year. He's a tough cover. You know, he gets going. He kind of flies around. He scores goals. You know, I think he did it obviously in college. He did it for us last year. And he hasn't missed a beat. I mean, the way he scores his goals is, just super impressive to watch. And sometimes you're almost like, how did he just do that?
Yeah, Coach, Malloy taking home Offensive Player of the Week, not named an All-Star. Do you have any feeling on that or opinion of that?
I don't know if I have an opinion I could share publicly, but I think, listen, I'm happy for him. He got Player of the Week. I think the All-Star voting, I think this is more fuel on the fire for Dylan because there's obviously people in the league who don't think he's good enough to be an All-Star, even though he's proven to be one of the elite goal scorers in the league. So I think it's just another log in the fire for Dylan Malloy of kind of just playing hard and competing.
He was obviously a big key to this fast start you guys had in New York. He scored the first 2 goals for you on Saturday. How important, especially coming off the stretch that you guys were coming off of with the losing streak, was that fast start there on Long Island?
Oh, it's great. I think what was even more important is the fact that we were able to sustain it. And they would go on their runs because New York is super talented offensively. They had their runs, and we would answer with a goal. I would have liked us to answer it after 1 or 2 that they scored, but a couple of times they did 3 or 4, and then we answered a goal where at the end of the day, we're still keeping the advantage. And I think that's the thing you don't see a lot in this league is someone jumping out to a lead and maintaining it. Typically, the other team fights back, claws back, makes a run, and then next thing you know, that team is down where we were able to sustain the lead the whole time. So I was super impressed by that.
Coach, as the game got closer, New York did outscore you guys 5-2 in the fourth. I'm sure your team's thinking a little bit about the previous 4 games and how you couldn't finish some of them off and some didn't go your way. What were your messages during the timeouts and maybe at the halftime break to finish the game like you did the other night?
Keep playing. Just keep grinding. Keep going. Don't worry about the clock. Don't worry about the other team. Just worry about us. And I thought that, we did what we needed to do. And, listen, sometimes you end up on the right side, sometimes you're on the wrong side. And Saturday we were on the right side. So we'll take it.
Obviously, the right side on the score sheet, the wrong side of history. Paul Rabel was able to get that record-breaking goal against you guys to now hold sole possession of the MLL all-time points record. Did you not get John Grant Jr.'s tweet about locking him off? I mean, per diem was at stake, Coach.
Definitely. I think. I'd like to go back and I'd like to find a game where Paul scored less than 2 points in a game in his career. And certainly, I don't know if there's been a time besides an injury where he's had goose egg 0-0. He's one of the best players to ever do this. He's a professional. He's an outstanding player. He made some big plays. It was, we witnessed history, and I'm not sure if that record's going to be broken for a long time. So it's impressive, a testament to him and his ability to change as a player, which I don't think he gets enough credit for. Because he scored goals a lot of different ways against us. He scored a dodging, shooting, and now he's become a great cutter, which has just completely changed his dynamic as a player.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I don't think there's many signs of him slowing down. He's going to only add to this record, so I don't think you're going to be the last team that Paul Rabel scores a point against. Certainly, it looks like he'll do plenty more damage this year. One change that has happened to your roster before that game on Saturday was you traded Sergio Salcido. What went into that decision?
I think it was, a combination of we needed another defenseman for that game, and we were kind of tight for a spot. I think a lot of times we all manipulate our rosters week by week, and we just felt like Sergio wasn't going to be in the lineup right now. And if he could get an opportunity to go play somewhere else, then, he's a good player, good man, good person. Let him get an opportunity somewhere else where we just felt like right now we're setting our lineup. And, guys who want to be in the league, I like to give an opportunity.
All right, Coach, you guys have Denver next on Saturday. Before we let you go, though, we're discussing with all the head coaches this week about the IHOP change to IHOB. Now they are marketing burgers as opposed to pancakes. That has been the big story this week. So I'm curious because being down in Florida, I feel like a lot of people are breakfast people, but maybe that's just me. Coach, burgers or pancakes?
Oh, man, I think you stick to one or the other. Don't try to do both. You're going to fail.
So which would you rather?
Pancakes.
Oh.
Pancakes. Just think about it. Pancakes, you could have breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night snack. Burgers, it's hard to eat multiple meals.
All right.
Pancake
fan.
Pancake,
I don't think I've ever had a pancake.
You could eat it.
Go ahead, Coach.
You can do it. Try it.
Yeah, breakfast for dinner. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, we appreciate the time as always. Good luck here this weekend.
Thanks, guys. Have a good afternoon.
All right. Coming up next, we'll check in with a team Florida beat this weekend, the Lizards, despite Rob Pennell's 10-point effort. More with head coach Joe Spallini.
And we'll try to figure out when we may see the Machine's stars and Tom Schreiber and Kyle Harrison back in action as they both deal with injuries. Bear Davis hopefully helps us out.
sometimes you do some things to change some things up to get a different spark.
Taking a look at your MLL standings as we get ready for Week 9 in the league. The Hounds and Rattlers tied atop the standings at 6-2 so far, but the Bayhawks hot on their tails, just a half game back. Then you got a mix of teams all there in the mix. When you look at the Outlaws, Blaze, Lizards, Launch still in there. Then the defending champs sitting at 2-5 so far this season.
Tough handle, but Rabel able to recover. Looking for that point to go ahead, and there it is. The new MLL all-time leading scorer, and it's the first goal tonight for New York.
Now, all alone atop that MLL points list, Paul Rabel making history on Saturday night. We've got Lizards coach Joe Spallina here now. Coach, what did you tell Paul afterward, and what do you think of his accomplishment to now sit atop the MLL points list all time?
It's, really happy for Paul. I think he's, what he's done for the sport, and, a record like that is just incredible. So couldn't be happier for him. He's worked tirelessly on his game, and he's a great teammate, and, it's a tremendous record.
By the way, in the mix of that contest for your team, Rob Pennell goes for 10 points. That gets kind of thrown to the side because of Paul's night, and your team certainly didn't get the win. But when both of those guys are clicking, how surprising was it to you that you guys didn't even pull the game out when Rob and Paul were that good the other night?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's about individual performance. I think you watch enough of this league, you know that you got to have, you can have big performance and lose. It happens often. So, I think it's a matter of us, we dug a big hole for ourselves early, and we, down 4-0, and then we chased those goals right till the end. So I think that's something, a point of emphasis for us to get off to a better start and, and not dig that kind of hole for ourselves because the league's just too competitive. So a mistake here, a mistake there. Do we waste a 10-point effort by Rob? We did. So, but at the same token, I think, we got to get a little bit out of our defense and our transition. And I think we improved at the face-off act because Tommy was really good, going over 60%.
Yeah, obviously you make that trade this past week. What went into your decision to make the trade and send a first round out to Denver?
Well, I think you just got to get, we're struggling.
Fair.
Just weren't performing well there. You can't go 30 or 40% in certain games and expect to win. And, when you're losing a game by a goal here, a goal there, and those are possessions. So I know Tommy a long time. He was one of my school students when I was, before I was a college coach teaching. He's local. And, he's a guy in his first game there, after taking 35 faces before, went over 60% in his debut. And, I think he's going to help us moving forward. He's one of the premier guys in the league and somebody who's matched up really well with, some of the guys that we have coming down a stretch to play. And, this league always comes down to a game here, a game there at the end of the season. So I think adding him gives our offense more possessions, and our offense right now is clicking really well. So it also, we're struggling a little bit defensively, and if we have the ball more, they don't, and, we'll be in a situation where obviously that'll help our defense as well.
It obviously must have been really tough to see Steve DiNapoli go down, placed on season-ending IR here this week. How tough was that to watch on Saturday?
Yeah, it was tough. I know he was really upset, obviously, and I think a lot of his panic and had to do with the realization. I think he knew right then that that would eliminate him from being able to participate in the World Games and represent Team USA. So. He's also one of, he's been with me for a long time. So, know him personally, and he's just a world-class person. So, your heart hurts for such a great guy like that.
Joe, you guys had 4 All-Stars selected yesterday: Matt Landis, Joel Tinney, Joe Walters, and Will Manny. Just a summary on those collection of guys and how deserving they were.
Yeah, I'm happy. Will obviously is, all of our guys, they it's great for them. Joel is in the league really not very long, so, but he's been something in mind when they, including a lot of the rookies. So I wouldn't say he necessarily earned it, but he's somebody who certainly his play, he will do very well in that game. He's tailor-made for this league, so we're fired up about him. But our other guys definitely, I think, are very deserving. Lance Walters, Will, all having really good seasons. So it's great for them, and I know they'll be excited, but a little chip on their shoulder for not being making the final cut for U.S. And I think that's something that makes that game fun. I coached it the last time it was played like that, and that was one of the last things we said to our guys walking on. We got to the end, lost in the last possession of the game, but good for the fans. It also helped Team USA prepare for the World Games.
Coach, before we let you go, we're having a little bit of fun with everybody this week, as we always do, and I'm sure you know about the IHOP name change to IHOB, International House of Burgers. So we're asking you, pancakes or burgers, what do you prefer?
I'm a burger guy.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm a burger guy.
Do you put anything on it?
I'm on the run all the time, so breakfast is usually tough. But whatever we go with. Always load the burger up.
There you go.
There you go. All
Joe
right.
Spallina going to load up the burger, pass on the pancakes. My kind of guy. Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck this weekend.
Be well, guys. Talk to you soon.
Next game for the Zards coming your way here Saturday against the Hounds, a big one. Pre-game coverage set for 6:30 Eastern. Game time, 7 p.m. Eastern on Long Island. Lizards hosting one of the top teams in the league. It's a game you can see, of course, right here on LSN.
All right, up next, Machine rookie Justin Gutterding got it done with his first career hat trick on Saturday, but it came in another loss. What's going on with Ohio? We're going to talk to Bear Davis next.
Sometimes you do some things to change some things up to get a different spark.
Week 9 continuing into Sunday here in Major League Lacrosse. A late night one, or a later night one, primetime matchup, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 Central. The Machine returning to the place where they won that MLL championship last year, the Star in Frisco, Texas, to take on the Red Hot Rattlers. Game time set for 8:30 Eastern. Our pregame coverage gets you started at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central here on LSN.
See the Machine on offense. You're seeing number 8, and today that is David Amala instead of wearing his traditional 0. Here's a shot here and a goal. That is Gutterding right on target to get his first of the game and tie the game up.
So Gutterding was good. The Machine not so well oiled this past week with a couple of losses. Coach Bear Davis joining us now. Coach, what's going on for you guys? What do you need to do to get going back in the right direction here?
Well, we're still trying to figure out some things, with guys missing in the lineup and trying to find some continuity. We have yet to field the same lineup in any game. So I think with that, and I think you hear some of the success, you hear some of these coaches on here talk about how they've been able to start, dressing the same lineup consistently. And that's, there's something to be said for that, and whether we have injury or guys out for other commitments, it definitely has paid a toll on us, and we're just trying to find a groove now. Trying to make sure, maybe ensure that inconsistency is our consistency in the lineup, and figure that piece out.
Coach, we had Dave Cottle on earlier in the show, and he was explaining what his team was doing to try and maintain focus during that brutal weather delay. Close to 3 hours you guys were waiting to get back on your home field. How did you guys approach it? And given the result of the game, do you think it threw off your team's focus and mojo?
And I don't think it's, obviously it's not ideal, but it's not ideal for either team. We're fortunate we have we have TV in the locker room, so I think we watched a little bit of the Florida New York game, and guys listen to music, and we met a couple times when it seemed like it was getting to a point to where we could get out and play, and we had our strength conditioning coach. We'll have our guys go through some exercises and some things to get them prepped and ready to go. So Guys were able to, it was wet, guys were sweaty, take off their stuff, dry it out, whatever, anything you can do to make yourself more comfortable and keep your mind right and keep focused. But at the same time, 2.5 hours or so, you're going to, make sure that you're comfortable and relaxed and ready to go when time comes.
Obviously, it's a tough situation that you guys are in right now without Tom Schreiber and now without Kyle Harrison, both dealing with their own injuries. What kind of update do you have with either one of those guys and their availability to try to get back in your lineup?
They're both continuing their rehab and physical therapy and trying to aggressively get back out on the field. But, at the same time, health obviously trumps, playing in a game, and we need other guys, to step up and fill those gaps. And I thought we saw flashes of it. I know it may seem like we're in a super bad place, which obviously record-wise we are. But you look at some of the plays that we made. We had a handful of pipes, and you see how we're starting to click a little bit on offense at times. With some of the rookies. We addressed almost every single draft draft pick that we had. So where we do have some veterans, we're also playing some young guys, and they're starting to click. They're starting to play better, and we're trying to dig out all the positives and build on those and correct the mistakes.
Given the experience you guys have, given you were champions last year, and you bring back a lot of that talent, and you have some young talent here from that you brought in, a player like Davey Emela, for instance, a rookie like Justin Gutterding. Is there much that needs to be said on your end, or do you think the guys are going to figure this out because they're good players and they're just going through a bit of a rut?
If you look at some of our shot selections and some things like that, there's obviously things that we want to do a better job of, and keep trying to find that blend of how the rookies are meshing in with the veterans, and obviously Tom is he's lead singer of the band, so right now we got a lot of drum solos and a lot of guitar solos trying to fill in, and that's fine, you can get away with that. It's just it takes some time, and we put a lot on him, and I think the pieces of our puzzle fit with him in it, and obviously, we're going to have to find some ways to manipulate, more offense without him in it.
Come on, Coach. I thought you were the lead singer of the band. Come on. You got to give yourself some more credit. Before we let you go, I know you watch this show, so we're asking people burgers or pancakes in honor of the IHOP name change. What you got, burgers or pancakes?
Well, I think we have enough burger joints in America, so and you can't order a Rudy Tooty fresh and fruity, So I'm going to stick with pancakes.
Boom.
Pancakes took a lot, Trav.
I know. Pancakes were good. Good stuff, Coach. We appreciate the time, and you can go get yourself a Rudy Tooty fresh and fruity pancake if you would like.
I'm really cowbell guy too, by the way. I'm cowbell.
There you go. Good stuff, Coach. Before we let you go, this was our last show for our producer, Mike Duvall, so I just want to thank him for all his work. We appreciate your time, Bear. For Brendan Glasheen, I'm Travis Ellsworth, and our producer, Mike Duvall. We'll see you next week.
Did he put the...